Hey everybody, it's Brad. I was browsing the Floriani forums and I noticed a question about freestanding lace, which I thought I knew the right answer to. How to do like a basic freestanding lace design for a Christmas ornament type thing. So I went to bang out a quick video on it, and it does not work how I thought it would work. So naturally I sat down and figured out a way to make it work. Not saying it's the best way. There probably are better ways. Let's look at the question though here. We got, where are we at here? Marty Kilroy. Does anyone know of any directions or tutorials for digitizing freestanding lace? I want to start with simple designs for Christmas ornaments. Thanks. Mark says the only place he knows is Anita Good Designs DVD course. That's, I'm sure, a good DVD course. Steve Wilson knows what he's talking about. It is like $500 though, so there's that. And then JLM Barry, there's a Yahoo group called The Lace Place that offers tutorials on making freestanding lace. I didn't go there. I hate Yahoo groups. Just the whole interface for it is annoying to me. So I didn't read this. But anyway, let's see what my thought process was here to figure out how to do this. What I was, well, let me back up. The first thing that people always try to do when they're doing freestanding, when they want to do freestanding lace in digitizing software, is the most natural thing in the world is to think that a motif fill is going to do it. So let's look at why that might be. I'm just bring in a simple shape rectangle here and apply a motif fill to it. That's this one. And at first glance, this looks like something that would sew out and be freestanding lace, right? I mean, it looks like the background of a freestanding lace design, kind of. And we've even got all these different ones to choose from. Like this is like a nice netting look. We can adjust the stitch length and make it a little more dense, but like this looks like it would be something that we'd be able to sew out and have it actually be freestanding lace. But if you actually take this and sew it out on water-soluble stabilizer, it actually sews out each piece individually so that they're not locked together. Okay, so I'm moving the little slider bar here, and you can see this. What's going to happen is as soon as you rinse out the wash away stabilizer, this is just going to fall to pieces because the lines need to be continuous lines, right? So it looks like it's continuous lines, but it's not. It's all little plus signs basically, and that's not going to work. And it's like that for all the different motif fills. So the way that I thought that we would be able to get around this is to cheat by using a regular fill stitch. And let me show you what I mean by that. So we take a rectangle, right? We just click and drag and draw a rectangle in. Okay, and we can apply a fill stitch to this. Alright, so we've got our fill stitch here. If I take the density of this fill stitch and crank it up really high, like all the way to, well, not quite that high, say all the way to 2 millimeters, and hit apply. Okay, we've got what looks like a netting already because our underlay is going the one way and the fill is going the other way. But what we can actually do to clean this up a little bit would be to go to the underlay and turn it off altogether, and then we've got just straight lines going like this, and then we could copy and paste this onto itself, change the inclination on the second one so that it's perpendicular to the first one, roughly like that. Okay, and now we see we've got this mess in here though. This is called traveling stitch, and the way that you try to get rid of the traveling stitch, you could go in and change your start and stop points by going, oops, I didn't mean to click off of it, by going into your shape tool, choose edit path. Come on, shape tool, what are you doing? There we go. So the start and stop points are this green dot and the red dot. So if I want to get rid of my start and stop points for this, I'd move one here, move one here. Okay, and we've still got a little tiny bit of mess right there, but we'll just ignore that for now. And we also need to add one more layer onto this. Copy, paste, and make it a steel stitch. And there we go. See, that clears up that little bit of mess right there. And what this will do is actually sew out this netting, and when it sews, it actually sews out complete lines perpendicular to one another, and that is going to all be wrapped up inside the satin stitch. You could actually wash this out. The reason that this is not going to work for anything more complicated than a square or a circle or a triangle or something like that is because of the way that it paths what's called the traveling stitch. And there's no way to tell the software to path that stitch anywhere other than going right through the middle of the design if it's something that is a more complicated shape than like a square. Alright, so check this out. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to do the exact same thing, but this time I'm going to go up and use the custom shapes here, and I'm going to pick this Christmas tree. That'd be perfect, right? Make a Christmas ornament with a Christmas tree design here. So if we go in and do the fill, we change the density to 2 like we did before. We remove the underlay like we did before. And we go and zoom in a little bit and look at this. Okay, so this is not too bad, really. All we got to do is change our start and stop points, right? Okay, so we go in and go to my design, go to the shape tool. Alright, my stop is my red and my start is my green. I'm going to have it start at the top and stop at the bottom. Let me go ahead and knock my density out a little bit more, actually. Put it on like 3. Okay. And we see that we've actually managed to eliminate the traveling stitch altogether because it doesn't need to go anywhere other than here to 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 here, etc. to finish the shape of the design. And that's fine for my horizontal lines. But when I get to my vertical lines in a shape like this, there is no way, copy and paste this onto itself, and go ahead and change my inclination so that it is perpendicular to the original one. There is no way to adjust my start and stop points on a shape like this with the vertical lines. Why is it not giving me my start and stop points when I click this? That's really driving me crazy. My shape tool, they're still not there. Oh, because I'm still on add inclination, so I actually have to go back to edit path, then click off of it, then click back on it, and there they are. Okay, so there's no way to adjust these in a way, no matter what I do, there's always going to be a traveling stitch because there's no way, because this is broken up here, there's no way for this to go and then kind of travel retrograde back through the design. And even if I put it on the very bottom here, let's see, we'll get this here, and we'll move one here. Okay, so it doesn't actually have to travel backwards at this point, but it still gets crazy jumps in there because it really does. Once it's done this part, there's nowhere for it to go except for through the middle of the design. And on a normal fill stitch, that doesn't matter because the travel stitches get covered up. But we're doing such a loose fill that we really can't do. We can't have all these traveling stitches in there because we'll see them and it will be ugly on our freestanding lace, so we don't want that. So what really there needs to be in order for this technique to work the way that I want it to work is there needs to be a traveling stitch option that sets it to travel around the outside edge of the design instead of through the middle of the design. So there isn't such a thing right now in Total Control U. Maybe sometime in the future if people submit help tickets or do something to that effect, we'll get one, but there isn't one right now. So I worked out a way that you'll be able to go and make this design. It's a little tedious, so you're going to want to grab yourself a digitizing beverage, maybe put on some music before you do this because it's going to take a while, but it's not hard. That's the nice thing. So I'm going to delete everything that I have now. I'm going to go in and bring my Christmas tree back in, custom shape, and Christmas tree. Okay, there he is. And now what I'm going to do is do some adjustments for my grid. I'm going to go up and right click on my grid settings. I'm going to change it from imperial to metric. Just trust me on this. Right click on it again and go to grid settings. I'm going to set my grid spacing for 1 millimeter horizontal, 1 millimeter vertical. Grid major I'm going to set to 0. Grid minor I'm going to set to 0. And I'm also going to select snap to grid. Then I'm going to hit OK. Alright, so we're zoomed out so far and my grid is so small we actually can't even see it. That's how tiny my grid is. And what we're going to do is first I'm going to take this and turn this into a satin stitch. Okay, so a steel stitch. I'm sorry, they call it a steel stitch in this. So I'm going to take this artwork piece. I'm going to go down and select steel. Okay, and what this is going to do is going to show me how much overlap I have that I can get away with when I am putting in my straight lines I'm about to put in. So you want to make sure you do that, and then you want to turn off 3D so that you're able to see through that a little bit. Okay, so let me zoom in a bit. So see what I mean? I can see my grid still through the stitching. Okay, all right, and now where we start doesn't matter all that much. Okay, but I'm going to start in this like lower corner down here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go select the running stitch tool up here at the top. So I select run stitch, and then you're going to start inside the satin stitch. And because we have snap to grid set, it's going to automatically link up your clicks with the spots on the grid. And if we keep it inside the satin stitch, we'll just be able to change the order that it sews out. And you can go diagonally when you're doing this too, by the way, so like I just did right there. And so here's what I'm doing. I'm just kind of making the loose fill manually and hiding my movements inside of the satin stitch, kind of like what I want the software to do on its own, I'm kind of doing for it. And so when you're inside the satin stitch, it doesn't matter that much what you do. You just want to make sure you have nice straight lines where it's going to show, and you want to make sure that they're uniformly spaced. In this case, they're going to be all exactly 1 millimeter apart. Now, I may not have the ideal size here. I'm not sure because I've never actually tried to do it this way before, and at my house I don't have an embroidery machine to test this out. But if it turns out that this is too dense, I'm sure it's not going to be too loose, but if it's too dense, all you would have to do is increase the size of your blocks that you're tracing here, the grid, I mean. Okay, so I'm just going and doing this whole thing piece by piece. Okay, and this is, like I said, this is going to take a while. All right, so you want to make sure that you have cleared out a block of time to do it. But you see, it's not very hard. Okay, now the reason that I have to keep doing this is because if I moving up and down like this is if I didn't and I just was zoomed out, and look, you see I've just messed up by not paying attention. Backspace if you mess up. If I'm zoomed out too far, I can't see the grid lines. Although this, actually I can see them pretty well at this magnification, so I'm going to continue doing it at this one. So I don't have to move around as much. In my satin stitch, back, up. Now here we have a conundrum. If I go out too much farther, I'm going to be out of my satin stitch. So what I can actually do is create a traveling stitch of my own. Go all the way down here, make a diagonal line all the way down, and then back over around to where I want to start, and then click on the next point, the next line that I was going to take. And then I can just go all the way up here to the termination point of this line in the satin stitch like that. Okay, and then I can just continue doing it along this next piece. See that? So I've just handily avoided having a double running stitch and traveled along the edge to hide my movements. And at the same time, I'm keeping this as one continuous piece of thread, and it's not going to be broken up. And this is pretty much what you have to do throughout the entire design. You're going to be, once you reach the end of the spot where you can do this, continuous stitch next to stitch, once you reach the end of any area that you can do this, like I'm rapidly approaching here, you're going to have to use the satin stitch to hide your movements. Okay, so now I'm going to go up into this part of the satin stitch, go up to the next corner where I want to, actually I guess I have to go to about here, and then I'm going to come back down here back over again, back up to the top, and you get the idea. Now here I'm using the arrow keys to pan around in the design rather than using the arrows up here and here. It's a little easier. I was holding the mic in one hand before, that's why I didn't do it like this last time. Alright, and then this is going to be the last one like this that I can do. And here I'm going to just travel over one and go all the way up, say to, I think it's here, yeah. And you'll be able to tell right away because we have the snap to grid turned on. You'll be able to tell if you went to the wrong one. See how clearly diagonal that is? And you just hit backspace when that happens. Continuing along. So you might go through several digitizing beverages in the course of doing this, but luckily it won't get any harder because it draws the straight lines for you, so have as many as you like. The nice thing is too, using the snap to grid, is your lines are always perfectly straight and they're always perfectly lined up, so every one of these lines is going to be 1 millimeter away from the others. Here we go. Getting to the next spot where I'm going to have to travel up to my next spot, and it's basically the next part along here where you can get access to the next line that's going to go down. Now this is going to be a pretty long area that I'm going to be able to do this. You know what I just thought of? I could be. Is this? Yeah, this is the one that I'm not able to cheat on. So you know what? I can do this way, and then the other stitch direction actually worked the way that I wanted. So now that I think about it, great time to be realizing stuff when you're actually making the tutorial video. But I just realized I'll be able to do it the way that I wanted to do it for the other stitch direction. So this will take half the time I expected it to take. So that pleases me. But I'm gonna finish doing it for you guys here, just in case I run into any other unexpected issues, so that I can make sure that I'm telling you to do things the right way here. This is pretty close to the edge of this one, so I'm gonna go down and then back up rather than risk one not being under the satin stitch. And back down we go. That was here, here, back up to the top. This is thrilling right here. Action packed. Just going up and going down. Just again, I'm using my arrow keys to scroll up and down here. But yeah, if they do ever put in that traveling stitch thing, this is going to take about 2 seconds to make one of these, and it can be any shape you want. I mean, this could be any shape you want too. It's just, you know, the more complicated the shape, the more time it's going to take because you have to think more. But as you can see, it's really not all that difficult. The snap to grid thing really does help. And in my experience, this style of freestanding lace holds up really well to having little monograms on it. You could, if we wanted to, we could have put like a circle, a satin stitch circle in here, and digitized around it, so that we would be able to have a little hanger. Oh, I forget where I clicked last. There we go. So that you can hang it on a Christmas tree. But I mean, even the way that this is, the net fill here is going to be loose enough that you'll be able to stick a little hanger thing through it. What I did for my daughter one time was I made her a bunch of these. I used a different program to do it. This was before I had this, but that program had traveling stitch through the edge. But I used a different program, but I made a bunch of glow-in-the-dark ones. that pretty much were this exact same technique, just I was able to use a loose fill to do it. And that's why I thought, oh, I know exactly how to do that. I'll answer this forum question. And then I get my OCD kicks in. I end up making an hour-long video where I'm clicking straight lines. What can you do? So we're almost in the home stretch here. And if you think you've got it, feel free to stop the video and go start working on your own one. I'm going to finish the video here, but I really don't foresee any problems here. Let's see, I'm going to be able to do this last one going all the way down, and then I'm going to take this next one and start working on inside this part of the tree, the top part of the tree. I'm going to go diagonal down and then run into here. And then I'm going to make my traveling stitch to get down to the next segment. And by all means, oops, if somebody else has a better way to do this, I am all ears. You know, and if you don't want or don't have the software to make a video on it, explain to me how to do it better than this, to make like a simple design, and I'll make a different video that's does it a better way. I wouldn't mind having this as a project for my Floriani club in the store, but I think I'd probably give everybody hand cramps if I had everybody doing this in class. Alright, so we're going to go down to the next section here. You know, I could just have them do a much smaller version of this, I guess, if I'm going to have them do it in class. That would help me out anyway, because I can never think of what project topic to do when I'm coming up with classes. That's why I really like it when people give me feedback, or when I see a post in a forum that I'm like, oh, that's an idea for a class. So by all means, if you've got something that you think is a good thing to make a tutorial video on, let me know. I'm not gonna always do everything. Some things I either don't know how to do, or I don't know how to do it well enough to really make a decent video on, and I'm just not gonna do things like that. But yeah, I'm rambling here. Oops. Remember, you can always just backspace if you have. Man, I'm getting really sloppy here. I keep having to backspace, but you can just backspace as much as you need whenever you make a mistake clicking with this. Oh man, I'm almost done. I'm so excited for this to be done. Oops. Okay, and now we're going to rock the traveling stitch back here. Start off on this line. Start going down, and this is my last tree section here. Oh my god. I keep doing that. It's harder when you're clicking on a diagonal to get it perfect, because it doesn't always snap to the grid right. It's okay when you're inside the satin stitch on this technique. It doesn't really matter whether your lines are straight when it's being hidden by the satin stitch. But what we are going to have to absolutely remember to do is to set that satin stitch so that it sews out last, because it is going to be the thing that traps these stitches and keeps them from unraveling. So we're so close, I can taste it. I'm really excited that I remembered that it worked the horizontal way, because I don't know if I got it in me to do another one of these going the other direction. Jeez. But if you did something that was a more complicated shape than this, like a snowflake, you may end up having to do both directions. So now I've got the whole thing in. I'm going to right click to generate my stitches. Okay, so there we go. And this back here, this is a jump stitch from the end of my steel stitch to my run. This is not a traveling stitch. Okay, so if we watch this sew out, we'll see it sews the entire satin stitch and then it jumps down to there. Okay, so that's not a traveling stitch. I could adjust my my stop point on my steel stitch to stop right there, so that I don't even have that jump. I'm not going to do that right now, though. So then the next step that we have, remember, this is not a shape. That's the outline of it. This is just a line that we drew in that follows the contours of that shape. So we have to copy the steel stitch. So we're going to copy and paste it, and we're going to change it into a fill stitch. We're going to change our density to oh geez, I guess I have to make it match my other one. Density 1 millimeter, I guess. I don't know. I'll look closer and see. But we need to change the underlay, turn it off at perpendicular, and then we need to adjust our start and our stop so that they're on the very tippy top and the very bottom of our tree. That gets rid of the traveling stitch. Okay, and this is a jump stitch again. That's not a traveling stitch. Okay, so my it's not a perfect grid, so I think I need to increase this number on my density. Yeah, that's getting closer. So we'll make this, set this to 2 maybe. Yeah, that's good enough for government work. And then we're going to change the steel and move it down. Okay, so now we've got freestanding lace. What you're going to do is sew this out on, I would sew it out on like a Fabri-Solvi type material, like the fabric kind of dissolve away mesh. I'm sorry, I said Fabri-Solvi and I'm on a Floriani forum. I mean Floriani dissolve away mesh, whatever they call it. You can tell that I sell various lines of stabilizer in my store. Yes, you should definitely use the Floriani wash away. It's actually better anyway, really. But anyway, so you sew it out on that, trim it out, and then rinse it out in some water, and you'll have a freestanding lace little Christmas tree. Now, like I said, you could add lettering to this, and this will stand up to that just fine. It will hold up. You can put letters on it, no problem. You just lay them right on top, and it's gonna work. So like I did when I did for Meadow, I put like an M right in the middle of it like that. I did one where I put like a little embroidery design of a cat on there, like a simple little outline of a cat, and that worked out well. She likes cats. So anyway, I forget your name now. Marty Kilroy. I hope that helps, and I hope you're able to make some simple Christmas tree ornaments. And if somebody else, like I said, has a better way to do this, I am all ears. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.